Right, okay, so we're looking at lap joints today, and in case you can't remember what a lap joint is, I've got a little reminder for you. I've got 2 pieces of timber, and I've cut a corner out of each piece, which means I can now quite simply lap them, whoops, the right way, over one another. Now, if I apply a lot of glue into this corner, lap them once more, the right way, she says. There we go. I'm going to end up with a really, really strong join because it's got a lot of surface area to adhere to or to bond to, and I can force it even more by adding a screw or a pin, whatever I fancy, to make it even stronger. Now, these are the joints that are commonly used in door frames because, like I just said, they're really strong. They can take a lot of abuse before they start to show signs of wear and tear, which is why they're great for door frames, because sometimes when we're having a temper tantrum, we might slam a door and we need that frame to hold its structure and hold its stability. So that's why we're doing them for a door frame. So I'm going to show you how to actually complete a lap joint in a few stages. Number 1, measure and marking, the best bit, the fun bit. I've got 2 smaller bits of timber here. I only need 1 to work with at the minute, so I'm going to put the other to one side. So I've got the width of my material, the length is the longest part, and then here I have the thickness. So my first mission is to measure the thickness of this timber. So I'm going to get my ruler, I'm going to line my ruler up right against the edge, and I'm going to point my pencil to the very end where the timber meets the ruler. Now, I can see that as 1.95 centimeters. I'm actually going to round that up to 2 centimeters, just to make my life that little bit easier. It's 1 millimeter, or not even a millimeter, it's half a millimeter. We can get away with that. So I'm going to say that it's 2 centimeters. And now I'm working in centimeters today because I just think it's going to make my life a little bit that much easier as well. So, if that's the thickness, 2 centimeters, I need to mark the halfway line on the edge of this timber. So, in order to find halfway, I need to divide it by 2. 2 centimeters divided by 2 equals 1 centimeter. So that is how much I'm going to be marking at the top of my timber bar. Right, so to mark out the thickness, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to place it right along the top edge of the timber. And I'm going to mark where the 1 is. And then I'm going to move my ruler down a little bit, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm making sure the ruler doesn't overhang the edge. It's right alongside. And again, mark where 1 is. Perfect. And now I'm going to draw those 2 lines together, or join these 2 lines together. And some of you might be wondering, well, hold on a minute, that's what a tri-square is for? Why aren't you using the tri-square? You are not wrong. I could have used a tri-square, but because the surface area at the top here is quite small, sometimes the tri-square doesn't sit flush. Like, it's not too bad here, but I felt a bit better and more comfortable with using a ruler. But if you want to try and use a tri-square, please do. So far I've now got my 1 centimeter into the halfway point. Now I need to measure 1 centimeter down. So I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to place it along the top. I'm going to go to 1 centimeter, which is on this ruler, it's 10 millimeters. And I'm going to make my line. Now for this bit, I can use my tri-square because I've got a lovely long edge that I can butt the tri-square right against, move it up. There we go. And I'm going to mark. Oh, I was a bit too generous there. That's better. Right, so this is eventually the bit that I'm going to cut out. So I've now marked out that corner, but that's no good because I can't just use that to guide my saw, because ideally I need a line going down here as well, so I know where exactly to position my saw. So to do that, I'm quite simply going to continue my line ever so slightly, using my pencil on that edge, and then again on this edge. Really, really gently, really, really lightly. Use my tri-square. Move it along right underneath that pencil line I've just made. Check it you're a bit lower. Do take your time with this, don't rush this, because this is how we end up with inaccurate joins. And while the tri-square is here, again, I'm just going to use my pencil just to go over that corner ever so slightly. There we go. And then I can use my tri-square once more to continue it around. Oh, that was perfect. There we go. I'm going roughly to the halfway point. I don't need to go all the way to the edge. There we go, okay. Whew. So now I know that I'm going to be cutting down on that line. I need to do this line here. So for this bit, I am going to need to use my ruler, and I am going to need to measure 1 centimetre. And when I measured the centimetre, I measured the centimetre before from this edge towards the middle. So I'm going to continue along that edge, just to make my life that little bit easier. Just in case I was inaccurate for whatever reason, by doing it along the same edge, I'm kind of almost guaranteeing my accuracy. There we go. And once more, I'm going to use my ruler, line it up very, very carefully, she says, and join it to the edge. I'm going to have to just move it over here. Sorry, I can't do that under camera. It's too fiddly. Liney, liney, line. Okay, so I've marked my line, but it's clearly off. I've clearly not measured 1 centimetre across very well. So I'm going to do this again. Now, I wanted to show you this because this is why we can't rush these steps. Because if I cut that line where it is right now, I'm going to end up with a wonky join. It's not going to sit beautifully and flushly. And also, I'm not going to create that nice 90-degree angle I'm hoping for. So I'm going to mark this out again. So hold fire. There you go, much, much better. So now I'm going to hatch out the area, which I'm going to waste, so the bit that I'm going to get rid of. Et voila. And now I can continue this line down a little bit. And I might drop my pencil on the floor. There we go. Use my ruler, join it up, going straight down. Ah, perfect. And then hatch, 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 hatch. So I cannot stress why it's really important to mark the join going all the way across that corner that I'm going to remove. Because when I'm cutting from above, I need to know exactly where I'm placing that saw. When I'm cutting on the wider surface edge, I need to again know exactly where I'm placing that saw. And then these pencil markings, these help to guide me as to how deep I'm actually going to cut. So now that that is all marked out, we're ready to actually start cutting.